Please get comfortable because I would like to tell you a story. So here we go. Once upon a time, in 2013 to be precise, there was a man who was down on his luck and he took a job as a taxi driver just so that he could make ends meet. And this man, he spent the next 4 years of his life taxi driving over 70,000 miles a year, but going nowhere in his life. He found that he wasn't getting anywhere in his life because as a taxi driver, he always ended up right back where he started from. And also because of the fact that he had decided to park his life, to put his life on hold by sitting in a taxi cab. Now, as time went by, year after year, he came to thinking that he should, and he really wanted to, change his life. And as he thought about it, more and more he thought about it, he stumbled upon the notion of dreaming. He stumbled upon the idea of dreaming and of chasing his dreams. So he started researching dreaming and he started putting together the rules that he felt that he might just need to be able to follow and to make his dreams come true. And he talked through these rules that he had put together with his customers in his taxi. And Lomar, who was a French girl who worked as a local bartender at a nightclub, now she was a regular customer of his, and she gave him the last rule that he needed to complete his set of rules. And that final rule was blind faith, the ability to have blind faith that your dream will come true. So, with rules in place, the next thing that he decided to do was to test his rules. So he set himself some dreams so that he could apply his rules to them. And he made a start on these dreams to see if he could actually make his dreams come true, to see if his rules for dreaming worked. Now, although the dreams that he set himself to an outsider might have seemed small and silly, to him, they were in fact massive and huge dreams because of where he was in his life at that very moment. The dreams that this man set himself were simply these: to be able to look in the mirror and to like the person that was looking back at him, to be able to financially provide for his family, to be able to let his wife pursue her hobbies, and to work in some capacity with mental health. He decided that for him to be able to do this, he needed to become both mentally and physically strong, because at the time he weighed about 21.5 stone. And due to taxi driving, he had not exercised for over 3 years because he literally had been sat down in a car for 3 years. He needed to get inspired and to get motivated to lose the weight and to actually start exercising. And he came up with an idea of running a marathon, because to run a marathon you have to be both physically fit and mentally strong. And he settled on this notion of running a marathon. Now at this point, this man, he couldn't even run to the toilet, let alone run 26.2 miles, and that's the distance that constitutes a marathon. So it would have been at that time a huge task for him to complete, because he would need to lose over 6 stone in weight and he would have to be able to run. Now this notion of running a marathon became his dream. It became a task, a goal, a target for him to focus on. And as I said at the time, it seemed impossible to him that he would be able to do it. So his dream became a great measure by which he would test out his rules of dreaming to see if they would work. He thought, well, where am I going to run a marathon to? And thinking about the absurdity of his dream, the man decided to be really silly and to put some stretch into his dream, and he decided to run it in New York City, which was a really silly idea because at the time the man did not know if New York City even had a marathon for him to run. And he was broke. He had no means of getting there. And so to him it really was an impossible task, a stupid dream. To make it even more stupid, he decided to run for a charity and to raise thousands of pounds. And to make it even more stupid, he made it part of his dream that the completion of the marathon would be a catalyst for him to change his life and for him to be able to make all the other dreams come true. It really was all stupid, and it really was an impossible dream. And so he set his dream in stone. It became a non-negotiable dream, and he was going to go and do it. Now, as a taxi driver, this man, who was a night shift taxi driver, experienced times at work when there was no work to be done, and this time was known as downtime. And at these times, all the taxi drivers would congregate in the small forecourt at the front of the taxi office, and they would spend their time there, the downtime, talking, laughing and joking and just generally messing around. And on one of these nights, the man decided to make a start on his dream. He decided, well, it's time to start training for the marathon. And at that time, he had no idea when he would run it, or how he would get to New York, or how he would raise thousands for charity. He got out of his car and he started to waddle from one side of the forecourt to the other. Now, he had to waddle because he was too fat and too unfit to run. And as he was waddling from side to side in the forecourt, in front of the taxi office, one of the taxi drivers looked up and shouted out, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm training," shouted back the man. "Well, what are you training for?" "I'm training to run a marathon," he shouted back again. And this resulted in huge laughter. "Where are you going to run the marathon to?" "I'm going to run it in New York City," he shouted back. And this resulted in much, much more laughter and weeks of Mickey taking and ridicule. And then a great laugh on this man. But he didn't listen to them because his dream had become an obsession and because he had discovered his why. And his why was that he was going to go and change his life. He joined a gym and he started training, and he trained and trained. And he came across a film called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead, which was the true story of how a man followed a juicing diet and he lost over 8 stone in weight and changed his life. So this man decided that he was going to go on a juicing diet too. And he juiced for over 77 days. He had nothing but juice. And this, combined with his gym work, resulted in him losing over 6 stone in weight in just 3 months. The research that he was doing revealed that there was a national charity. It was a local national charity with a head office just 7 miles down the road from where he lived. And they raised money to make the dreams come true for seriously ill and terminally ill children. And they were called Dreams Come True. And for this man, it was just clear to him that he could only raise money for one charity, this charity called Dreams Come True. So he contacted them, and they told him that if he raised over £3,000 for them by getting sponsored for running the marathon, they would fly him out to New York City to run that marathon. Because in fact, New York City does have a marathon which runs every November. The man, he didn't run the marathon in 2013, he didn't run it in 2014, but in 2015, after juicing for 77 days, he lost 6 stone, he became physically fit. He ran 2 marathons, the London Marathon in the April and the New York City in the November, and he raised over £8,000 for the charity. The man, he ran with a secret that he didn't tell anybody about. In the 8 months leading up to the marathon, he carried a pain in his chest. And when he was reading the New York City Marathon Participants Guide, it listed the things that should you have any of these things, you should not run a marathon. And one of these things was chest pain. But this man, he was just committed. His dream had become a focus for him, a must-do. And his sense of why, his sense of I'm going to do this, was so strong that he decided he was running whatever the consequences, even if it risked his life. The man took out a will. He made videos for his family saying, "Sorry if I'm dead now," and goodbye, in case he never made it back. He was still making videos on his phone on the starting line of the marathon on Staten Island, New York City. And in one of those videos he recorded, "Look at this. This is what a man looks like when he's living his dream." And so he ran the marathon. He completed the marathon, and by doing so, he completed his dream. And proving that his rules of dreaming really worked. And further proof that his rules for dreaming really worked was the fact that he did in fact go out and change his life. This man, he went from loser to winner, from no money in the bank, no future, to international marathon runner, to a charity fundraiser, to head up a business, to become an author, to become a speaker, talking on happiness and how to make your dreams come true. And those taxi drivers, they're not laughing now. This man can now look himself in the mirror and tell himself that he is all right. His family is very well provided for. His wife spends her time looking after the family and pursuing her hobbies. And the man spends each day helping people with their mental health. That man is me. And the rules of dreaming that I made up, that I tried and that I tested, I can say for sure they work. I am a living testimony that they work. And that if anyone follows these rules, you, me, anybody, they can not only make their dreams come true, but they can also find true, sustainable inner happiness. But here's the thing that I discovered about these rules. The rules to make your dreams come true, the rules that I invented, the rules that I followed and that made my dreams come true, still making my dreams come true. These rules, they were brand new to me. I made them up. But I discovered that in fact these rules have been around forever, but that only relatively a few people follow them and go on and make their dreams come true. If you or your company or your work colleagues or your friends or your team or your group want to make your dreams come true, learn these rules, follow them, and you will transform your life, your goals, your targets, and your dreams. And this is why I speak, to spread the message, to spread the learning. So book me, invite me out to talk. I talk from anyone from 10 to 1,000 people. I'll speak with power, passion, conviction, honesty, humour, and humility. And I for sure speak the truth. If you want to change your life, to change your outcome, if you want to make your dreams come true, give me a call.